Okay, let's create the data sources for that we're going to be using. So let's start with the first one, and it's going to be a device. It's going to be the GetGeolocationService add, and I'm just going to name it data source. And we don't need before send mapping. The success send mapping though will be to expand all, and we're going to write it into storage actually, so I can close the check-in screen here, and we're just going to write the latitude into lat and the longitude into lng. Okay, save and return, and that's the success. And let's see, we'll come back to that. Let's add a second data source, which is I'm going to close this. We'll come back to that. We're going to add another one, which is a service, and this is going to use GetNearestAddress add, and I'm going to call this GetAddress data source. And the before send mapping is, this is going to be probably from storage. Close this. Yes, it's going to be lat long, and what is expand all, and it's going to go lat long from here to here, and here to here. Okay, save and return. And then we're going to do the get address source success mapping, and so now we can expand all. This is the service response, and we are going to copy these into the check-in screen. So let's expand all, and it's going to be it's actually in mobile grid 2, which is house number is street number, and street is street, and zip comes from postal code. Okay, and save and return. So let's see. Now when do we invoke get data source? We invoke get data source after a successful return from the geolocation source. So let's add invoke service, and the service that we're going to invoke after a successful geolocation is going to be get address. So save. Okay, so now we see that that is invoked there. And so the last thing we need to do is set up the event handler. So click here, get my location, and that's going to cause a invoke service, and it's going to be the geolocation data service. So click save, and let's see if this works. So click save up here, test, and I guess I need to, am I logged in? No. rich $, and get my location, and it doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is add actually another label, another set of labels down here which contain the lat long, because I don't know if the problem is in the first data source or the second data source. So let's go back here. I'm going to add a grid below here, and it only needs to be one row. And in the left, I'm going to have both sides are going to have a label here and a label here, and the left one is going to be the latitude. I'm going to leave it blank, and I'm going to bring it down to 12 font. I'm going to center it, and I'm going to name it LBL latitude. And the right one is going to also be text removed, and I'm going to make it 12 and center it, and I'm going to name it LBL longitude. And let's see, I think I'll put some text here. Latitude, longitude, and I'm going to go back into my get geolocation data source, and in my success mapping, I'm also going to write those two labels. So let me expand all and go down to these two labels I just added here, and I'm going to put the latitude in the label latitude, and the longitude in the label longitude. Save and return, and now I'm going to see what happens. Test, and let's log in here. And we can try to get my location, and we see now it works. And the problem actually was in my service setup. I actually had the username wrong. So anyway, I corrected that, and now we see this works, and we are able to get my location accurately. Now we need to get the check-in button to work. So let's go back here and click on the we need to set up the data source for that. So click data, and we can close this. Let's create a new data source service, and let's do CheckInService. Add, and let's name it check-in data source. And let's see, the before send mapping is let's see, we're gonna load in the check-in register ID, the latitude and the longitude, and these house parameters. So we can start by, let's click storage and close the check-in screen, and let's load the check-in register ID and the latitude and the longitude, and then let's go open this and get the Where is the check-in? Oh, that's the panel. Here it is, the text. House number here goes to here. The street text goes to here. And the zip code goes to here. And so save and return. And that's the before mapping. And so the success mapping would simply be probably copying the status. The status goes, it's this label here. I forgot to name it. Let's quickly name it. Design. It is this label here. And I'm going to name it LBL status. So let's go back to data and mapping, and now we can scroll down here and we see LBL status, copy the status over, and save and return. And let's now save this and click test. And let's see if we're logged in. We are. Get my location and check me in. And we forgot to set up the event. So let's go back here. We can close this, go back to design. We need to click here, open up events. It's the check-in. We want to select action. It's invoke a service, check-in data source, save. And we can close this now. Click save and test again. Let's see if we're logged in. We are. Get my location. Check me in. And it shows me checked in. So it looks like this page works.